and welcome to the eFresh.com Flowers, Plants, and Bulbs news. Today is the 15th of September, and these are this week's headlines. Genome sounds alarm for aphid. New varieties keep exports blooming. Flowers adapt to global warming. Coral Gables host ancient plants. Royal approval for wildflower book. They ravage gardens and threaten some of the world's leading food crops, but aphids may finally have met their match. Plans to sequence the insect's genome will allow the creation of tailored pesticides that do not harm bees and other more welcome animals. According to Professor Lynn Field of Rothmanstead Research, the more we treat insects, the more they become resistant to insecticides. Her team has been studying the newly decoded aphid genome, which will be published later this year. And she told the British Science Festival that they have a real chance to develop targeted pesticides. Farmers would be the first to benefit from such new compounds, but they could be adapted for use by domestic gardeners. However, Professor Field said it would be many years before the drugs were passed for commercial use. This year's bumper wildflower season may be a blessing for the bees, but it's also a factor in what is already a challenging year for West Australian flower exporter WAFEX. Founder Craig Mewson said the company was looking at an excellent season for its staple exports, including the Geraldton waxflower and Banksias. He said WAFEX had been able to generate new sales leads by continually diversifying its customer base and researching and developing new flower varieties that could command premium prices. According to Mewson, at the moment, new varieties don't end up producing any sort of income for the breeders. So what they wanted to do was set up a business that could link the breeders into growers and into the commercial realty so that they could have an income stream and keep breeders and researchers going. A new study has predicted the effect of global warming on spring flowers by the year 2080, using data taken from records dating back to the late 19th century. The study is based on the facts that plants control the timing of flowering by adapting to the local weather and climate, and that throughout the past century, global warming, driven by ever-rising atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations, has resulted in local climate changes, which are likely to steadily increase. This new model can be used to refine predictions of the future impact of warming on plant and animal life across much of the world. Using the results, the scientists have been able to construct a global map demonstrating desynchronization of plant and animal life in the year 2080. Plants that shared the prehistoric landscape with dinosaurs like herbivorous sauropods and meat-eating allosaurs can be found today in South Florida, and a little-known Coral Gables research garden celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. More than 1,000 plant species, including more than 620 species of cycads and palms, the center's two specialties, thrive on Montgomery's 120 acres. The American Public Gardens Association has accredited the center's holdings as collections of national significance. Conserving rare and endangered plants and sharing information with scientists and plant enthusiasts around the world is a mission of the garden's employees and volunteers. The history of the Montgomery Center goes back to 1934, when Colonel Montgomery, an accountant, lawyer, and botany buff, bought 65 acres in Coral Gables. The rich diversity of floral life in the North Highlands is featured in a new book written by retired Downray scientist Ken Butler. He has collaborated with photographer Ken Crossan to produce the 189-page publication, which has a foreword by Prince Charles, who holidays at the Castle of May. Mr. Butler developed a passion for the area's wildflowers after moving to work at the former nuclear plant in 1956. A stalwart member of the Caithness Field Club, he spent much of his leisure time roaming the countryside and coastal areas on the lookout for favorite and new species. Mr. Butler started the book as a retirement project after leaving Downray in 2001. The North Highland Initiative, which was launched by Prince Charles, contributed towards the cost of the publication. Thank you for watching the eFresh.com Flowers, Plants, and Bulbs news. See you next time.